Well, hey now, everybody. We are back, your team, with Write Books That Sell Now and Authors Ignited. I'm Anita Henderson, and I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful business partner, Candace Davis. Hey, lady.
Hey, I got to give the slow wave because I've been doing it on
I
all of them.
know that has been the theme of this video series. I absolutely love the slow wave. Hey, everybody. We are back with another exciting topic for you, already published authors, to help you get super duper smart and to actually make some money with your book. And so in this video, we are talking about how to actually get more clients with your book, how to get some more clients with your book. A lot of people have no idea. We know we work with a lot of coaches and consultants, and people are really looking for ways to use their book to get some more clients. We've heard it a number of times. Candace, I know you have, because I have too, from people who said, I thought that after I wrote my book, I was going to get this huge influx of clients.
It's not that simple, unfortunately. You absolutely can use your book, and we're going to talk about some ways you can do it to get an influx of clients, but you can't just write the book and publish it and hope that they're going to find it and then come and find you. It's not quite that simple. It does work. There are just certain steps you have to take to make it work.
Right. So it goes back to our entire premise of the fact that it's bigger than the book. It's bigger than just having a book. Whether you know it or not, and many of you do, there are thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands new book titles every single year. This is not to discourage you. I'm not saying that to say don't be among the crowd. I'm saying that you've got to do things. You've got to do the work. You've got to put in the effort, have the commitment and the dedication to make your publishing effort more than just a book in your hand, okay? And so if you are a coach or a consultant or anyone else who has clients, then you want to practice the strategies that we're talking about here. And so without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. Candace, you want to tackle number one, or the first one that we're going to talk about anyway?
The number one way that we have on our list, and it's one of many ways, but is to give your book away. Give it away to prospects.
What? Give it away?
I know you're going to lose that $20 or whatever it was that you were wishing you were going to make, but I will just tell you this works, right? So give your book away. You might be at a conference or an event. You might be a speaker or an attendee. You can still give your book away even if you're not speaking, by the way. You can give your book away to people when you meet them. Some people you've probably seen online will do an offer where people can get their book if they just pay shipping costs. They are doing that because they know that person is much more likely to buy more from them later or work with them. They're not doing it because they want to treat you like a charity case, right? It's not a nonprofit for them. They're in business. So you pay for shipping and you get this great book and you're like, yay, I saved $20, but they know that you're much more likely to buy from them. And I was sharing with Anita earlier that one of my clients I was talking to, sharing how he always gives his book away for free at speaking engagements. He makes it a part of the contract, right? When they hire him to speak for an engagement, part of that is purchasing a certain number of his books for the attendees. And he tracks where his customers come from. And he looked at one client that he had who had been with him since he got the free purchase of the book. And in a year, he had made over $13,000 from that one client.
Wow,
that's awesome. I was shocked to hear that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know what? It's interesting you say that because I had a client who actually also happens to be a gentleman who did something very similar with his book and the speaking engagements that he has, to not so much require, but certainly offer to the host, the meeting planner who was inviting him to speak, to purchase his books at cost and give them away to the attendees. I have not heard of many women who do that, and I don't know why. So I'm not saying it's only a man thing, but I would challenge some of the female authors out there to try this strategy. It is hugely successful, or it can be for you to, invite the person who invited you to speak to purchase those books at a discount or at your cost, and then give the books away to the people who attend the event where you're speaking. Truly a great marketing strategy, and it's very strategic. And to the point with Candace's client, you have to measure the outcome, okay? We always are looking for results, and we want a return on our investment of time and money. And the fact that he actually tracked his long-term results from a particular client or a particular event is hugely important. You have got to keep track of those numbers and the results that you get.
Right, because if you're not getting results, you may be giving your book away to the wrong people. And that's not going to help you. If they're not your ideal client, your ideal prospective client at that point, giving it to them is not going to be helpful to you. So you have to make sure you're giving it to the right people who actually will be looking for your services in the future, the near future.
Exactly. So we're talking about prospects and leads and people in your audience who you're speaking to. Don't just give it away to the lady down the street or your next door neighbor and all that kind of stuff. They should be buying it.
Read it. She's going to
give it away strategically. Okay. So that's one way that you can get more clients with your book. Another way is simply to talk about it. I know that sounds like a no-brainer, like, duh, I talk about my book all the time. But what I'm saying in terms of talking about it is, again, talking about it at your presentations, when you're giving presentations, talking about your book when you are in networking situations, and talking about your book, quite frankly, wherever you are. Now, again, you don't want to sound like a broken record, and every time somebody sees you, here she comes again, all she talks about is her book. You don't want to be that person. But if people don't know that you have written a book, then they're not likely to want to know more about you and what you do. And the idea behind talking about your book, clearly, as we're talking about here, is to get more clients. And you don't talk about your book just by the fact of, hey, I wrote a book, aren't I awesome? You're talking about your book in terms of the concepts, the ideas, the processes, maybe even the stories in your book that people will connect with and want to know more about you. And how did you come up with that system? And why did you write this book? And gee, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about what you do. Let's make an appointment. And gee, I'd like to hire you as a consultant or a coach to help me in my life.
Yeah, everybody's not a reader. So even if they don't read your book, everyone doesn't take in their information through reading books. We do, we love books, but that's not for everybody. But if you're talking about it, they're still hearing that you have created solutions that you've packaged in the book. Even if they never read it, they're now intrigued by the fact that you had enough knowledge and enough information that you could create an entire book around the subject. So they're much more likely to consider you as someone that they want to work with.
Right. So talk about it. Stop being a secret agent. Stop being, bashful or whatever you want to call it. Give yourself the credit for having done the book and, with our fingers crossed, done it well. And talk about your book wherever you are in the most strategic way, and being respectful of other people's interests and time, and certainly being very conscious of your strategy in doing so. Okay. So the number 3 reason a way that we are suggesting that you use your book to get more clients is, Candace,
teach the concepts in your book. That's really simple. They always sound super simple, and they are simple. It's just a matter of doing them and doing them consistently. So your book probably has a series of processes, strategies. Even a memoir has lessons in it, right? So whether you wrote a how-to book or a memoir, you can still pull the concepts from that book and teach them. You can teach them in webinars, you can teach them in live Q&As, you can teach them in presentations, you can teach them on Facebook Live, you can teach them in different video platforms online. Teach the concepts, because what that does is it allows people who haven't yet read the book, or even if they have read the book, to see you in action explaining those concepts, and all of a sudden your level of credibility in their minds goes even higher, and they're much more likely to seek you out to want to work with you.
Yeah, you can teach the concepts, as Candace said, in a variety of ways. There are webinars, there are live presentations, there's online courses, there's all kinds of stuff, YouTube videos, Facebook Live, just like she said. You may not consider yourself a teacher, right, a presenter or whatever, but you wrote a book about some stuff, and you should be able to tell people verbally or otherwise how to use that those concepts in your book, how to benefit from the stories that you're sharing, what you learned from your life lessons, for example, if you have written a memoir. So you should be able to teach those concepts in a variety of ways, even if it's a small group or even a larger audience. Teach those concepts. People want to know. It's one thing to read about it, but it's another thing to hear directly from the author about her or his most, impactful moments that are mentioned in the book. And then you get to always say my 3 favorite words in my book. You get to say, I talked about this in my book.
And if you give people the opportunity in those teaching situations to ask you questions, it's all the better, right? Because now they feel like they've connected with you over that information and engaged with you. So if you have an opportunity to do a Q&A with them, do the Q&A. They will fall in love with the fact that you really are the expert on the subject.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because before I started using speaking as part of my platform, that was the one thing I was afraid of, the Q&A part. What if they ask me a question I don't have the answer to? I don't know why I was afraid of that. But of course, that goes back to speaking about only what you know. Don't be reaching from way over there to try to, come up with a presentation that you're not familiar with. And then secondly, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I need to look into that. Audiences appreciate that and they respect you for that. But quite frankly, I've never had anyone ask me a question that I couldn't answer. So there you have it. And you probably won't either. So,
and you probably won't, because you're speaking on a topic that you are well versed in, right? So their questions are likely to be relevant to that topic. And again, just like you said, if you don't know, that's outside of my expertise.
Right. I can find out about that for you, or, so get in touch with me. Exactly. So yeah, those 3 ways to get more clients with your book, and I'll just review them real quickly. 1 is to give it away. Give it away to prospects and leads. And again, strategic gifting of your book is super duper important. People will respect you. Everybody likes a gift. They love a gift. And again, you're doing it in a smart way, not giving your book just to any old body, but to people who would likely be your ideal client. The second thing is to talk about it. Talk to people about it where you are, especially if you're giving a presentation, a live presentation in person or online, as well as in networking situations. Talk about your book. Refer to the concepts and the stories in your book in your conversations. And then finally, teach the concepts. Teach those concepts again from the stage, from your online courses and webinars that you're teaching. Share the value, okay, of the processes and systems and lessons learned that you cover in your book. And so, of course, you can learn a whole lot more ways to use your book to get more clients when you join Authors Ignited. Oh my gosh, Authors Ignited is awesome. This is an online community that Candace and I have created especially for already published authors who have had their books out for a time, short time or long time. Perhaps you came out with it and it was a splash. Your launch party was the bomb and you sold some books and then crickets, womp womp, you heard nothing. It's time to reignite. It's time to get it going.
Yeah, I love a good launch party, but we got to plan farther than that. After the launch party's over and all of your friends and family and colleagues have gotten a copy of your book, what next? And for us, we want everyone to know it's so much more than just book sales. Yes, we can help you figure out ways to sell more books, but we want you to figure out ways to use your book to create the business you want to create, right? To create additional income streams beyond just book sales. There's so much more you can do with it if you know what steps to take.
Absolutely. We have run into so many authors who, they say, I wish I had known this information when my book first came out, because I wouldn't have been struggling, or I wouldn't now have an attic or a basement or a trunk full of boxes of books that I wasn't able to sell. Or what I hoped to accomplish when my book first came out, I could have done it by now, which was either get some more clients or get more speaking invitations, paid speaking invitations, or be, invited to consult with more corporations, or just essentially what all that equals is basically to make some more money.
Yeah.
Make more money. Yeah. I wrote my book so I can make some more money. And it's funny how we have to dig at authors to really get to the bottom of why they wrote the book. I don't know why people are afraid or ashamed or whatever to say, I want to make some more money with my book.
Yeah, and it's so possible. So many of our clients are out there doing amazing things. They're getting media attention. They're booking speaking engagements that pay many times more than the engagements that they were booking before they became authors. Doesn't matter how long ago you wrote your book. It's not too late, right? You can still use that same book to create the business and the income that you want to create.
Yeah, so if you want to join a community of authors who are learning how to turn that one book into multiple income streams, how to really boost and build their credibility and their visibility as an author. Go ahead and join Authors Ignited right now. Just go to authorsignited.com. We are so happy and so ready to welcome you into the community. We have a 4-step author success pathway that it's not just, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're done. The idea is that you are consistently following a strategy, a set of strategies to continuously improve your author platform. And that's the exciting part about this. So join us. We're excited to welcome you. We want to see you in the group. Any final thoughts, Candace?
It's just time. It's time. There's no reason to put it off any longer, whether you published your book yesterday or you published it 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. It's time. Don't let it sit there gathering dust on your hard drive, on Amazon, or in your garage any longer than it needs to. It's time to put it to work for you.
All right. So we'll see you all there. Thanks for watching. Check us out again soon. Take care.